1, 2, 3, 4. Almost a weekend and you don't know what to do. Or you just need something fun to listen to.
Southside Pod!
Yes, we're on the air.
Pod.
And the gang's all here, all things on the South Side. You're listening to the Southside Pod. Looking for the best Southside breweries. Or you might just need an awesome place to eat.
Southside Pod!
Mount Greenwood, Evergreen, Blue Island, Beverly, Payless, and Allsup too. You're tuned into the Southside Pod.
Southside Pod!
Oakland, Midlothian,
Southside Pod.
Oak Forest, Chicago Ridge, Flossmoor, and Bridgeview. You're listening to Southside Pod.
Lots of good stuff this week here on Southside Pod. My name is Chris Lanuti, bellying up to the 9-foot homemade oak bar. Pour yourself a cold one. Bill's doing that. Mike's doing it as well. You'll hear from them in a moment. Lots going on today, as I said. We're going to tell you about all the different concerts and live music in the area. We're going to give you news for your neighborhood, your village, your town. We're going to talk about some of the unique things that Southside breweries do around here. And one is going to unveil a brand new beer that they're going to have all summer long for you to try. Plus, you could win $100 from Southside Pod. Details coming up in this 30 minutes of good. This is Southside Pod, found everywhere podcasts can be found and always at SouthsidePod.com.
Are you tired of expensive pizza made with expensive ingredients and delivered in an expensive cardboard box? Well, then you want Roadkill Pizza. Our pizzas are made with choice meats and cheeses discovered on famous highways like Route 66 and excellent roadkill locations like the Kentucky Back Road.
Yep.
Don't believe it's good? Well, believe it. Let's have a secret taste test just to prove it. You, sir, you want a free pizza?
Sure.
Here, this one we call the Rabbit.
Hey man, this ain't bad. What is it?
It's 4-day-old dead rabbit with skunk meat and cheese.
You son of a thrown. Kill you!
Ah! Get off me! Ah!
Roadkill Pizza is available only in Wisconsin, Indiana, and Kentucky. Coming soon to a back road near you.
It is now time for your South Side Sound Check. Live music is back at many venues. Check out these. This Friday, Funky Space Monkeys start an early show at 9 p.m. at 115 Bourbon Street. On Saturday night, an 8 p.m. start for Grateful Dead tribute band Caution. While on a second stage, the acoustic-driven rock of American Pie. A DJ follows after that show. You must pre-register for those events at 115bourbonstreet.com. A Selena tribute show and a dinner at Pescadon at 6254 South Archer Road in Summit. You can find tickets to that event for $20 to $30 on Eventbrite. And the Forge and Joliet presents Bad Boys, a tribute to Whitesnake on Saturday night, starting at 8 p.m. Also scheduled to appear Made in Chicago and Love Drive. $10 standing room, $20 reserved, $30 premium reserved balcony. Get more details at theforgelive.com. That is an all-ages show. If you have an event you want to tell us about, something you want to promote on Southside Pod, do so very easily by giving us a call, 708-459-8406. Leave a message with all the details and we'll get it out to the South Side.
A pitcher of beer, a pitcher of beer. Let's order another pitcher of beer. That pitcher of beer should come over here. I love that pitcher of beer.
So what do you look for when you walk into a brewery? Like if you went into a new brewery and you're looking around, like, is it like, you're like, oh, it's cool because there's a bunch of tanks. It's cool because there's a lot of seating. It's cool because there's a big selection. Like, what's the thing that like gets you excited?
As a connoisseur, and then I'll answer as an amateur.
I think the two things are, what is your signature beer?
Okay.
And, you know, what different stuff do you have? That's the kind of things I'm looking for. So the first thing I try to have is, I'm like, what's your beer that everybody drinks or everybody wants, or that is your best seller? I want to start with that. Their
flagship,
their most well known, their best beer. You want to start with that. You want give me your best. You know, you got 1 minute. This is your elevator pitch. Give me your best beer right away. That's usually what I try to start with when I go to.
That's smart. I like that. That's very smart.
And then I peruse the menu, and then the next thing I look for is whatever style I'm really digging on at the time. I go try to see if they have something like that. So, if I'm in an IPA mood, I'm like, all right, let's go see if they've got an IPA. If it's stout season, let's see if they've got a stout, then I'll try their stout. And
What about you, Bill? What do you look for?
You know what I like? Because I'm not like a connoisseur like Mike. Mike kind of knows what things mean. If you say like Russian Imperial Stout, he kind of knows what that flavor is. If it says IPA, he pretty much knows kind of the.
You don't even know what IPA stands for.
No, I really
do
don't.
you?
No, IPA.
Take a guess.
IPA,
What do you think it is?
IPA. Like when
Not
you
India
can't
Pale
give
Ale.
medical information
Not
to somebody.
India Pale Ale. It's
That's the
HIPAA like
laws,
HIPAA
right?
laws. Okay, it's HIPAA laws. Yeah.
Anyway,
This is why
I don't know any of that stuff. Okay, so what I'm looking for is the flights.
Right.
I think those are cool. When you give 5 or 6 beers,
You try a bunch of stuff.
right? Give me some trials. Or I don't know if they do the little like spoons at like Baskin Robbins, like little shot glasses of beer.
yeah, a
Like,
lot of places
I wanna
will give
try
you
it.
like a 1 ounce shot.
Try
Well,
it
they
before you buy.
stopped during COVID.
Yeah, which makes
Places
sense.
that I knew that were normally you could walk in and be like, "Hey, I got a new beer," and I'm like, "Well, before I pay any money
Right.
for it, can I get a taste?"
But the flights are cool because
Those guys don't do it anymore, and they're using COVID as an excuse. But I don't understand why you can't wash the tiny glass, but you can wash the big glass that costs $8.
Well, it doesn't cost,
I don't
you know,
get
it's
the
not
difference
cost
there.
The
in
flights
that.
usually come with an education, like either
Right.
written or verbal, of like, hey, this is this is what it tastes like, this is what you should, maybe even pair it with. I've had places where there was like, almost like a menu that it comes with where you can read about it. And I think that's good because you're getting an education. As a person that doesn't know a whole lot about beer, I think that's a good thing.
I think one of the cooler things that I've seen is I've been able to find things at most of the breweries on the South Side that they do that's unique. Like when I stop into certain breweries, I'm like, that's what they do.
Sure,
It
I like that
mean,
too.
and it's the thing. Like, but I figured it out now. Like running around and doing this stuff. So like one Allegiance out in Chicago Ridge, they do a beer with Australian hops, and I know Bill hates this every time I said this. I once went to Australia.
Why do I hate that?
Because you make fun of me every time. Like, all you do is talk about the time you went to Australia.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do. You say it all the time.
Good
get
on you.
angry.
Good on you, mate.
Okay. So, but the thing is, from the northern part to the northern coast all the way down to Sydney, which is close to the southern coast, or like more than halfway down on the eastern part of Australia, we traveled down that over a period of 3 weeks. And every time you went to a craft brewery, all their IPAs tasted the same. They all had a different taste that I never tasted anywhere else. And so they do one that has this hop in it. And I'm like, that just reminds me of that trip. I've never tasted it, but they get Australian hops like shipped across the Pacific Ocean just so they can make this one beer. I don't even know if it's their signature, but I know it's not available anywhere else. Like, it's like, if I want to try what a beer tastes like in Sydney, Australia, I go over there. That's the stuff that really sticks out to me, like when I go to a brewery. Like, do they like to use bourbon barrels? The guys over at Blue Island Beer Company, they use a bourbon barrel very well, just like Open Outcry does. Like and they will sit there, but they've understood that like only certain beers work with it.
Right.
So like I trust them. Don't
do things just to do things.
Exactly. And one of the brewers that talks to us all the time is sitting down here with us at the 9-foot Homemade Oak Bar. That's John Brand from Open Outcry, 109th and Western. You've heard him before here on Southside Pod, and he's already back because they have developed a brand new beer that they tested out, and people liked it so much, it may be the summer beer on the South Side. John, tell me about this.
We're excited about this beer. This is the Speculator, which is, as you know, our number one selling beer, our beer that we sell the most of by volume as well. This is the Speculator with lemon and lime zest. We released this a couple weeks ago on a trial basis to see what the feedback was, or that was going to receive, and it's been overwhelming. And I enjoy drinking it. We're drinking a lot in my house, and it's selling very, very well. So I think you're going to see this on draft most, if not all, of the upcoming spring and summer.
Well, I've always been one of these guys that like, you see the gimmicks, like Budweiser tries it and Miller Lite tried it, I think, for a little while. And everybody tries like these things, like put a lime in it, put a lemon in it. And they don't always come out very good. Like there's been a few of them I've been like, okay, well, after a long day of like mowing the lawn and I'm really hot, those things are pretty refreshing.
A lot of those are artificial flavoring and artificial sweeteners.
Right. This is different.
Literally sitting in the brewery every week, hand zesting limes and hand zesting lemons.
And zesting's when it's the outside, right?
Yeah, you shave the outside with the nail file tool, and it gives it just a very authentic lemon lime taste. But it's still subtle, right? Like most of the things we try to do, we do not try to overwhelm the palate with these adjuncts or different fruits. We want it to be subtle, just a hint of it. And what's cool about this is not only you get it in the flavor, but you get it in the nose as well. So when you bring the glass to your nose, you're getting those lemon and lime notes in it before you even take a sip.
So where does an idea like this come from? Was it like one of these things where he's like, I've never tried it, I want to do it? Was it something that was like specific for summertime and or spring?
The cool thing about running a brew pub is you get to sit around and drink beer and talk beer all day with people, right? And last year we were doing a lot of speculator with lemons, and that was based off the request of our customers. So you get instant feedback from people in the tap room, and people were asking for different fruited speculators. As you know, since we've been open, we regularly rotate fruited speculators. We did lemon last year, and the feedback was exceptional. So we did it a number of times in the summer going into the fall. And then we were sitting around talking about it a couple of weeks ago, and one of the staff said, hey, let's do lemon and lime, and maybe it'll bring sort of a Corona-type experience to speculator.
Right.
To use as a point of reference. And we tried it, and we put it on draft, and didn't promote it initially like we do with all our newer beers, and started handing it out to our regular customers and getting feedback, and they loved it. So we've been doing this now every week for the last, I'd say, 4 or 5 weeks.
John Brand's over at 109th and Western at Open Outcry. You can check them out, openoutcrybrewing.com. I love it when you come by here. You always have something really cool for us to try. The big thing about having a podcast and a podcast network from your 9-foot homemade oak bar is the idea that I would get to sit down here and drink beer. And so you're a godsend to me because you come and hang out on the show and tell me all this really interesting stuff, and you bring me beer.
Well, you're such a handsome fellow. I like being down here.
It's now time for your Southside Pod word on the street, and already big news for outdoor athletes. Several of you don't need to wear masks anymore while you're playing sports in Illinois. The Illinois Department of Health and the IHSA has now announced that baseball, softball, tennis, track, and field does not need masks anymore when they're competing. Also included on the list, bass fishing. Seriously? You're on a boat all by yourself, coming into contact with just fish, and you were wearing a mask up to this point? All right, the Village of Evergreen Park has been offering free COVID-19 testing every Friday. Look for it this Friday at Yukich Field, 89th and Kedzie in the northwest corner. It's drive-through, mouth swab. They do not jab anything up your nose. It takes 3 or 4 days for results, 9 a.m. until 3 p.m. Meanwhile, in Matson, there's another mass vaccination site that has just opened up. The new site is at 4647 Promenade Way. You can schedule your vaccine at that location at vaccine.cookcountyil.gov. If you don't have internet access, call 833-308-1988. The Windy City Thunderbolts are going to play ball starting on May 27th in Crestwood. They're still trying to figure out capacity. They're still trying to figure out all the rules. I would expect it to be just like the White Sox games. I was at opening day, digital ticket. You don't have a cell phone, they generally find a way to give you a ticket. You're spread out. There's all kinds of protocols, but the good news is baseball back in Crestwood. Get ready for that in May. And finally, on May the 8th, there's going to be this thing called the Tragic Innocence Tour. It is a bus that is going to go around and look for ghosts. I'm not kidding. Archerwood Cemetery, they're looking for Resurrection Mary. They're going to go see if they can find the Butcher of Palos Park and the Feral Boy of Sacred Heart Cemetery. You're just making this up now, aren't you? The Feral Boy of Sacred Heart? I lived on the south side my entire life. I obviously don't know every story. $35 are the tickets. You can get them on Eventbrite. They pick up at 115 Bourbon Street, May the 8th, and maybe we'll get the organizers Graveside Paranormal on this show before then, because I got to hear about this feral boy. That's your word on the street. This is the Southside Pod, found everywhere podcasts can be found, and always at southsidepod.com. Does your financial advisor actually take time to listen to you? Is your financial strategy personalized for you and your family? Will your financial advisor be there as your life and financial situation changes? Why worry about those things when Tom Walsh is nearby? He's your local Edward Jones financial advisor. He works with you, focusing on what's important to you. He uses an established process to create personalized financial strategy, and he partners with you to help your strategy stay on track. Listen, families in South Chicagoland have been benefiting from Tom's get-to-know-you approach and do-the-right-thing values for over 18 years. Contact my close personal friend, and also a fellow Brother Rice alumni, Tom Walsh. He's your local Edward Jones advisor, located in Mount Greenwood at 111th and Kedzie. Member SIPC. You're listening to the brand new Southside Pod. My name is Chris Lanuti. Bill is over here. Mike's here at the 9 Foot Homemade Oak Bar in my basement. Much more ahead, including a big contest. We're giving away $100 to a listener. Next week on the show, we will be sitting down with the folks at Rock Island Public House. We're actually going to go out to Blue Island, sit down with them in their place. Really cool spot. They do drive-in movies. They got indoor-outdoor seating. They got a great rotating craft beer list. And then they also have an incredible attached restaurant, Butter Over Bacon. They make food at this place. I'm telling you. This is a hidden gem on the South Side. If you have never been there, I was in there with my wife. Bill was there with me. Mike, you've never been there. We're going to check this place out. The folks behind Butter Over Bacon and the folks behind the Rock Island Public House in Blue Island. That's next week's show. And if you really want to stop by and say hi to Southside Pod, I think we're recording that on Saturday night, about 8 or 9 o'clock in the evening. Right after that, we got to get back to tasting tacos, because we've been on a search for the best taco on the South Side, and we got away from it the last couple of weeks, and we really have to kick it into high gear. And then after that, we got to figure out what we're doing next, I think, right?
Well,
what will we do? Because right now, tacos to Cinco de Mayo seem like that's easy.
Yeah,
and the thing was, people were already telling us, go check out this taco place, go do this. That was the first thing people organically told us that most Southsiders wanted to argue over was tacos. So it was like, okay, so Southside Pod is new, and it's the thing that everybody wants to go check out. And then I kind of like naturally went to tamales because I know what a fan you are of them. And when we get to May, they're going to start showing up on street corners again.
Absolutely.
And at like fairs and everything
they
else.
already are in a lot of neighborhoods.
Right. But after that, I don't know what we go to.
It doesn't have to be food, by the way.
Why
we
not?
We do like best music venue.
No, this is how I justify the fact that I'm fat. It's because I have to eat these things. Sweetheart, I have to eat these things for the podcast. Like, this is how I justify
What about
it.
like, go like best ice cream? Best cone? Who's got the best
How
cone?
does Rainbow Cone not win?
I don't know.
What is it going to be? Is it going to be Rainbow Cone versus the what is the white pony or what's it called?
Primos.
Primos, but the places along
makes a great,
the places along Southwest Highway.
Plush Horse.
Plush Horse. That's it. I said pony.
See, now
Plush
we got
Horse.
3 there. Already
Right.
competing.
That one was always like a big thing. I used to go on dates in high school to the Plush Horse. I mean, there's a few places.
Some people just like a good old fashioned Baskin Robbins. Who
All right.
knows?
So we're gonna have to hit some ice cream.
Best cone.
All right. So we know in advance we're going taco, tamale, ice cream.
I mean, ice cream makes sense for the summer too. You know?
Right. And then when we get to the fall, we just start looking for Oktoberfest.
Best pumpkin patch.
Oh, really? Do you still go to those?
Why wouldn't
He's got little kids.
He's got little kids.
Yeah, no.
My 2 older kids went to pumpkin patches. My youngest one picks it out at the Jewel.
Yeah, we got ours from the grocery store this year, last year.
Tumble out of bed and stumble to the kitchen and pour myself a cup of ambition. Yawning, stretching, trying to come to life. Jump in the shower and the blood starts pumping. Out on the street and the traffic starts jumping. With a force like me on the job from 9 to 5. Working 9 to 5. What a way to make a living. Barely getting by. It's all taken and no giving. They just use your mind and they never give you credit. It's enough to drive you crazy if you let it. Working 9 to 5. 9 to 5. Working 9 to 5. 9 to 5.
It is now that time on Southside Pod when we take a look at the dumbest thing you'll hear all week. This week, it comes out of the Chicago White Sox organization. You may not know this, but the same network that does Southside Pod also does Sox in the Basement, a White Sox podcast that ranks in the top 15% of downloads of all podcasts worldwide. according to the IAB, the most downloaded White Sox podcast out there. And if you're not listening, check it out everywhere podcasts can be found, and always at soxinthebasement.com. This week, they spoke with James Fox. He covers the team, and he cannot understand the dumbest thing that you will hear all week, and that's Tony La Russa saying that high-end prospect Andrew Vaughn is not a core player and has not earned a chance to hit over a never was in outfielder Nick Williams. The normally even-keeled James Fox lost it on Sox in the Basement. Listen to this.
I mean, I don't know how I can explain it. It doesn't make any sense. There's no way that the front office and Tony are on the same page. None. Like, you'll never get me to believe it. You know, on the other hand, like, Andrew Vaughn's still on the team and they haven't sent him down. So, I don't know. Maybe this is some weird, like, thing where Tony La Russa feels like he needs to, like, earn his stripes, like, before he's going to play regularly. But he's got a 400 on base percentage. It's 20 plate appearances, so it's probably meaningless, but, like, he's on base he's been on base 8 of the 20 times that he's physically picked up a bat. And even, like, the Yerman thing is fun, but, like, Andrew Vaughn is significantly more important to the future of this organization than even Yerman is. But that doesn't even matter. Just put him in left field. Like, there's no reason for Nick Williams and Billy Hamilton and guys like this to be playing in a season where you have World Series aspirations and you have Andrew Vaughn that could just do it instead. It makes absolutely no sense to me, and I don't really understand what they're doing.
Strangely, I don't think this will be the only time that Tony La Russa and or the White Sox make the dumbest thing you'll hear all week. And I'm a fan. Get it together, guys. Hey gang, ever wonder what it's like to be a small business owner? It's confusing, weird expenses coming out of nowhere, and when you throw in health insurance, forget it. Nobody understands how that works. If you own a business, big or small, it's one of the biggest expenses you have all year long. And yet, we all wait until open enrollment at the end of the year, and then we think to ourselves, next year I'll get a jump on it. And then it's another year of paying way too much. If you're a business owner, big or small, HR representative that wants to impress the boss, give Butch Zemar of Elite Benefits of America a call. Save yourself or your boss thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars a year. Reach out to Butch right now, 708-535-3006, or shoot him an email, butch@elitebenefits.net. And be sure to check out the Zemar podcast. Don't wait till the last minute. Put Butch Zemar to work for you now. All right, I promised a contest, didn't I, for Southside Pod listeners? Hit the music. Southside Pod is proud to unveil the Southside Pod Listener of the Month Award. That's right, we are going to award a Listener of the Month award. Trust me, it's cooler than Employee of the Month. First of all, you win $100. That's right, cash money too. I'm not sending you a gift card. I'm not giving you a check. Cash money. How do you win that money? How do you get in? This is how you do it. Share a Southside Pod episode post on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. We put out posts all the time on those sites, and we tell people, hey, there's a new episode of Southside Pod out. You take that post and you share it. That's all you have to do on any one of those social media sites. There's one out right now for this show or any of the previous shows. That works fine. After you send the share, we will see that you did so. The second thing you have to do is then send us a direct message from that exact same account. So if you go through Facebook, from your Facebook account, if you share on Twitter, your Twitter, if you share on Instagram, your Instagram. Send us a screenshot of you leaving a review on any podcast app. It's really simple. Go to something like Apple Podcast, right? You see the thing, you can mark 1 through 5 stars. Hit 5 stars. Trust me, like if you give me 1 star, you're probably not winning. Hit 5 stars and then leave a review. Like, hey, this show's great. Hey, I love all the news about the Southside. Hey, I heard about something I was going to do this weekend from Southside Pod. Bill's funny. Mike's not. Whatever you want to say. Send me that screenshot to the Southside Pod account with your name and phone number in the DM. That way nobody else sees it except for me. And you're entered. Winner wins $100 cash. Now, since this is brand new, the first month is going to start right now a little bit early, but this is for the month of May. So anytime between now and May the 27th, when we will announce our winner, enter. Once again, you share a post about one of our episodes to your friends or on your business page or whatever you want to do. And then you leave a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Just take a screenshot, send us a picture. Make sure we have your name and your phone number so we can contact you if you win. You can share multiple shows, do multiple reviews, and have multiple entries. It's the old Southside way, vote early, vote often. Same thing with this. Get as many entries in as you want. You must be 18 or over to play. First winner to be announced on May the 27th. Maybe you will be the Southside Pod Listener of the Month and $100 richer from the podcast for Southsiders by Southsiders. That is 30 minutes of good. Southside Pod, found everywhere podcasts can be found and always at SouthsidePod.com.
Oh my God!
Oh my God!
It's the Southside Pod!
It's the Southside Pod!
Oh my God!
Oh my God!
It's the Southside Pod!
It's the Southside Pod!
OMG!
OMG!
It's the SSP!
It's the SSP!
Oh my God!
Oh my God!
It's the Southside Pod!
It's the Southside Pod! There is a brand new business in Evergreen Park. It's amazing that during a pandemic, we still have businesses opening in Evergreen Park, and I think that's a real testament to how things work and run right here in the EP. Adriana owns Unbeatable Eatables, which is a franchise, but you're the first franchisee of Unbeatable Eatables. There was an original, and you said it was in Country
Club Hills.
Country Club
Correct.
Hills,
Yes.
and now Unbeatable Eatables comes here. The second location, the first franchise that came out of this system is right here in Evergreen Park. How are you?
I'm pretty good, and yes, that is correct. We are so excited to be a part of the community and to be here in Evergreen Park.
All right, so let's talk about this sandwich that you made for us. I said, what is the number one thing that people will want to eat when they come to Unbeatable Eatables?
Yes.
And you present me with this monster of a sandwich.
Yes.
Is this the size of all of your sandwiches? Is this one just a specific, extra big sandwich? And tell us the name of it and all about it.
Okay, so that's actually our large 12-inch Poseidon sandwich. That's going to come with ham, turkey, American cheese, mustard cheese. We put on everything. We gave you the work, so you have the lettuce, onions, tomatoes, and cucumbers. And just everything, all of those ingredients just makes it really special, and it's our most popular sandwich on the menu.
In terms of the veggies you got on here, these feel like they're hand-cut, fresh cut here on site, right?
Yes, we hand-cut all of our meats, everything. One of the things that I love about Unbeatable Eatables is that all of our ingredients are fresh, delivered daily. We hand make our chili that's homemade, and we just really take time and really put in that effort for each sandwich. We have to be able to want to eat it after we make it. You have to look at it, say, you know what, that looks great. Now we can serve it to our customers.
The other thing that you do, and I want to mention it because this is the time of year where people are getting ready to celebrate things like First Communions. They got the graduations. Everybody's doing it a little bit differently. Maybe some people are doing it exactly the same as they used to, okay, as things start to open up again. It looks like you do catering as well. So this is another option for people that are looking for catering for a party.
Yes, that is correct. With us only being open for 2 weeks so far, we had a great turnout for Easter with our catering platters. So we offer all types of platters from small to large to handling, 10 individuals all the way up to 50 and 60 individuals. We have Italian beef. So if you want not just a sandwich, something hot as well, we do that as well. We serve that by the pan. And then also specialty cheeses and all of that great stuff and meats. 3208 West 95th Street here in the heart of Evergreen Park. Like I said, northwest corner of 95th and Kedzie. You can check them out online at unbeatablesubs.com. And I'll give out your phone number as well, 708-907-9800. It's a beautiful day when we finally got to get together and do this, and I get to sit outside here because you have the outdoor seating, and it's just a nice spot to sit down and have a sandwich, or if you're going to do takeout, and I appreciate you having us over. Oh, thank you so much for you and your wife coming. I appreciate it so much, and it's been a pleasure. You guys are great.
Thank you for listening to see what's happening on the Southside Pod. On the Southside Pod. Join us again and be sure to tell a friend about the Southside Pod. About the Southside Pod. All things about the neighborhood we live in. All things about the places that we go. It's the best side of Chicago, the South Side Pod.